Hey, what's up, friends? Well, this video is going to talk about the Truman Show and the specifics behind Hollywood and movies and how they actually do talk about other people's lives. Like I'm one of them, right? So, for example, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn in any way. I really believe at this point it's just how men build, especially the Freemasons on planet Earth, right? So, Truman Show, when the movie starts, a star falls from the sky and hits the ground right in front of Truman, almost like it's like who you are or who's watching you or something like that, right? And Cyrus or the star that fell is the brightest star in the kingdom, right? And Truman's address is the number 36. And pertaining to my life, I'm 36 years old. And this is the breakout session, right? It's where you finally break out from the mold of the Matrix and the Truman Show and stuff like that. And where I live at in Decatur, I didn't realize this, but I lived off of the US 36 when I first came here. See, I wasn't 36 years old when I first came here. I was like 34 or something. And I lived off the US 36. And then I ended up moving to Vegas. I moved to California, attempted reconciliation, which is videos about. And then when I moved back to Decatur, all the puzzle pieces came together. The pier over here is called Pier 36. So this is actually my breakout city from the Truman Show. And you can believe that if you want to. Watch the movie for yourselves. Numbers are important. Now I'm not saying that's good at all as far as like biblical and the worldly way, but I didn't choose this. It chose me kind of thing. So that's why I'm explaining it the way I am. So, here I am back in Pier 36 and I'm 36 years old. And I wanted to talk about the revelation I got from going to California, attempting this family recon mission. So when I was living in California, I couldn't stay clean off of drugs more than 4 to 6 months. I kept relapsing. And my drug of choice was street drugs they call meth. And still got my teeth, praise God. But so pretty much I decided to move out of state because I heard the success rates from drugs really go high when you move out of state. And so I did. I moved out of state and I saw some serious good fruits from that, which was awesome. And I got like 8 credit cards. I was building my credit back up, paying bills. I became a manager at Domino's and I was working pretty well. And, so then I started making these videos on Facebook. I made a family recon page and you can go look it up for yourself. You just have to go and I accept your invitation or whatever. But I started making videos for my kids to see, all my kids, and trying to explain to them, the destructive paths of life I've been on, the dysfunctional family I've had to face and grow up with. And I made a promise in one of those videos that I would make it back home to my son, whatever that word is. And I made it was personal for him. And so when I rescued my brother and moved him here and I started transitioning back closer to California, meaning Las Vegas first, I attempted to reconcile with 3 babies' mamas that I know of, right? And I ended up making it to California without a woman. That was my promise. It was like, son, I'm going to make it back here without a woman and show that it was for you guys and stuff like that. And so I did. And so during this journey, which I consider to be a failure as far as like nothing coming together, obviously I'm not with any of the babies' mamas. We're not civil at all. And but my mission was to go and knock on doors. So if I had a broken door, my mission was to knock on the door and say, sorry, do you want to try to, I was on drugs, so mine wasn't right. And for the most part, that wasn't good enough for these women. All 3 of them, my work state, my independent state, my being clean, off drugs, being single, it had nothing to do with any form of reconciliation. And I put all 3 of them to the test. And which is kind of a bummer, but once again, I tried to knock on the door, and I'm a very wise man when it comes to the specifics of coping in society and calling out people's bullshit. And so these women, if you grab all their stat sheets and their data and you collect it, most of them said if he would stay off drugs, if he would provide for himself, if he wasn't obsessed with being in a relationship. And then so once I did all that, passed all these tests, right, and I was able to do that, it actually it's a bittersweet feeling for an individual, because I'm not going to lie, part of me wanted to rub it in their face. I think that's human when we do that, right? Especially with bitter women or people who are bitter towards us. You can't help but go, look, ladies, I beat all the records. I'm here to be in my child's life now. And then they still go, but they all got that big old but, and that's what I kind of find out. I knocked on the door. One of them, we engaged and had sex together, and it was kind of a bummer because that kind of closed the door, which was crazy. I figured that might have opened the door. Most people would, but it didn't. And, I was not shy about telling them what I meant. Like, one, I even said, hey, if you want to fix this, we can get married and start a family and finish this life strong. And then, I got the whole F you, you're a lying piece of crap. And so there was no forgiveness, obviously. They wanted to keep lifting up that old me, which most people will do. If they're not ready to receive any healing, they'll straight demasculate you immediately, and they'll see the new version of you, but they won't accept it. And they'll go, I'm going to continue to paint that old version of you. And then you're like, oh, wow, bummer. And so I got that from all three, unfortunately. And, it was almost sexually connected with two of them. But then one of them we pulled away, and we were like trying to be adults and go, that's not right. We can't do that. And, and then it got, one of them, we almost got to where we were going to have some coffee, and I tried to ask if I could do a video call and meet my son, and I'll act like I'm some guy named Paul. And so I did use these techniques too, but my techniques were basically one of not forcing anything. So I wasn't going to just go there and beg them to come back. The proof is in the pudding. As a man, where I've came from, where I've been, and where I am now, I was like, well, I'm going to try to just let the proof in the pudding do the talking, right? Working, you're consistent, you're not on drugs, you're living the single life, and let the adultship do the talking. That should work for adults. Adults who act like adults will come together like adults. And then I wanted that to be available. That way, if they're still a child, like the women are bitter butter faces, I wanted my adult, full on, every bit of adulthood I had, I wanted to bring it to the table. That way these children could be like, the world would see that they're childish, because that's the only way, if your witness fully grown doesn't fix anything, then it's going to be a testimony against everything. And you got to be prepared for that. I was also prepared to be shot down, the door slammed shut, to talk to like I'm garbage still, even though I'm not. And I was prepared for that because that's what I wanted the world to see, right? Even though I didn't leave there married to any of these women, I didn't even leave there, with any bit of positivity. Like, I didn't really see any of my kids. I seen my other kids a little bit, but still, trying to get that woman to let me see my children while I was living in California was almost as hard as getting them to come see me when I lived in Las Vegas. If not, it was probably the same exact hardness. Very difficult. And I already had dreams about some things going in here. But like I said, I wanted to grab the surfboard and chase these waves myself and see what they were all about. And so that's what I did, right? I tried to go over there and reconcile, knock on doors with my family too, my mother, my uncle. I asked him if he was Michael Myers, and I've been having this dream since I was 6 years old, and I looked him in his face and said, like, are you him? What are you going to do kind of thing, right? Because I wanted to know these answers. And so, so I asked him straight up. And then he's like, I wouldn't worry about that. And then I ended up seeing this piece from that. That was the greatest form of love I think I felt, was from my uncle. And I'm not saying that me and him built some uncle and nephew relationship. That didn't happen. But my ability to go over there and ask him that hard question blossomed me. I was like, wow, dude, this is pretty cool. And it blossomed me. And, I seen fruits from it. And so I ended up getting a job back doing x-ray, but none of it was the same. It was all different. And so I decided I got pushed out of California. 2 individual spirits pushed me out. And I got sick, real sick. Sick. And so I hopped in my car and I left, not in my own will. I was ready to go there and die, but something was pushing me out. So I just went with it. And, and as I was leaving, one of the baby's mamas called me. And the conversation was very one-sided, of course. I was like, how's our son? Because, I took a test. The kid is mine and hers. And, this woman, she's like, well, my son is doing good. So then I'm like, okay, I thought we were adults, but I guess you're like 16 years old and I'm 36 and you're going to be like stupid, right? So then at that point, I'm still trying to be mature and be the mature one and go let it slide. But after that, you already know that the conversation is going to be one-sided. She doesn't care about your feelings. She doesn't care about your emotions. She doesn't care about the fact you don't get to see your kid. Her standing point is to just rub it in, demasculate you, and remind you that you're a piece of crap. And that's, and she blew me off like 4 times at this point. And then finally I told her, no, I can't meet you. Because she's like, hey, I want you to, this is how she said it. I want you to help me clean my car. So meet me at this place so we can throw my trash away and stuff. And I'm just like, really? And so I'm like, no, I can't do that. I was already halfway across America anyways. And she's like, so I blow you off. And then finally I'm ready to see you and you're not ready to see me. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. I'm not. And I can't. Then she just starts yelling at me about, what a piece of crap I am. And I've realized this woman needed healing because she mentioned one time, she's like, I still need healing from what the divorce did to me when I was growing up. My mom, my dad, this guy, that guy. But not one part of her mentioned anything that she did to herself. There was no self-accountability, no self-reflection. And whenever I talk to people who don't reflect their own personal garbage or things they suffer with, I tend to only give you a small block. I'm not going to go far with you because, first of all, those are the people who will beat you down the most, right? Because if they don't reflect on themselves at all, let's just say there's 100% reflection skill, and they reflect on themselves 1%. But where's the other bit of reflection going to go? It has to go somewhere. So these individuals are going to reflect 99% of everything else as other people who hurt them, right? And then that's where you get the term hurt people. So this is a person where I knew going in, and this is with all 3 of them, by the way. I found out that these women are probably more of the 90 percentile. They reflect 90% of everything on others and very minimal on themselves. It means they have a wall up. I don't do nothing wrong. You do everything kind of wrong, right? And I think we all suffer with this a little bit. And I knew that going into this, right? I didn't picture these women to be butterflies and rainbows because that would just be stupid. Remember, I thought children first, us later. So in order for the children to see fruits, the parents have to thrive together, right? A parentship that thrives with reconciliation and friendship, it will trickle down to the kids. God, father, wife, kids. It all trickles down, right? And so that's the vision I had going into this. And it was a catastrophe. It was a failure. I mean, I didn't get none of my wildest dreams coming true. I don't talk to any of these babies' mamas more now than I didn't before. It's probably still the stagnated swamp water that has no life in it. But one positive I can take out of this is that the whole world got to watch, right? Because in the beginning of this video, I said, you're looking at Truman, right? I'm on Pier 36. So this is my breakout session. So I got to go to all these fake actors who were hired and working for the Truman Flying J refinery. And I got to embrace them and try to invite them into something real, right? For the sake of children. And so in my heart at this point, one of them was married still. And so instead of trying to reconcile, I started praying that their marriage could either get ended or that they would come together. Because who am I to, try to disrupt that? And so I did that. And, and then the other one just went through a divorce. So that one I was trying to actually reconcile together with. And the other one, it was mainly just trying to get a stable, let me get the kids every weekend kind of thing. But that was like pulling teeth. It was very difficult. It was way harder than it should have been because of these women. So the men are, I was demasculated a lot of it. I came in there with respectful power from the missions I completed and the growth, but I wasn't shown that by these women. They straight looked at me like I was a piece of trash and haven't done anything right in life. And it is what it is, kind of thing. So, and the passion behind my exploration, like Christopher Columbus, is simple. I have this goal to where I wanted to make a foundation to go out there and seek and save the lost men of Israel, not like the world, and help them who are also fighting these type of women. Let's just be honest. Bitter women, Jezebel women, future bald women, they need help with these women. Because a lot of women, if they knew God was coming to take their hair, they would put on wigs and mock God and go ahead, give me my bald spots. Those are the ones I want to help men fight, right? And I wanted to prove also that every attempt of reconciliation, if it didn't work, I wanted to show the hearts of these women to the whole world that it has nothing to do with you getting off drugs, staying clean, motivated, independent. These women are just completely thorn bushes at this point. They don't want reconciliation. They don't want to see you thrive. And when you come at them softly, nicely, kindly, passionately, fixed, healing, it's going to do diddly squat. It did me diddly squat, dude. Now, if I showed up with $1 million and a lawyer, I'd probably get different scenarios, right? I'd probably win because now it's law. But I now have a rap sheet. I can go to a lawyer and be like, I tried to get clean and come over here and I tried to do everything at peace, because before you take people to court, they sit you in this room and see if you can reconcile. It's called mediation. Can you mediate amongst yourselves? It's where a person listens and watches, and then they watch you talk. And then they hope you can mediate like adults. That's what mine was. Mine was a live mediation attempt to reconcile. And it failed, which is okay, right? So now I hope that other women were inspired. And I really hope that God uses other women to put these women in corners in life. Like I hope when they're fucking up in life, I hope that somebody goes up to them and they're like I hope a bold woman will be like, I heard about this story, and if I had a dad who changed and wanted to come back, I would have welcomed him in. And I want women to go, what were you thinking? Like, that was stupid. I want them to be put into those positions because we're put in those positions. As a man, when we don't thrive and we're not taking care of our kids, trust me, God will send you a soldier that'll say, a person doesn't take care of kids is worse than a non-believer. And that's to motivate you to become a person who takes care of your kids. They put you in a little corner and they give you the hardcore truth, right? So that's the whole concept of this. And but I wanted to share my story that I'm not losing heart. I didn't abort mission. I got pushed out of California. I was going to stay in a place too long that didn't want me there. And so I really feel like God pushed me out. And now I'm back here where I was able to thrive and save up. And then now I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment. I got a bigger apartment now than I did when I first left. I was in a studio. So that's kind of cool. And I got a job again, delivering pizza for now. And I have more opportunities up ahead. And so now it's time to rebuild. To see what I did is I took a folder and I have 3 babies' mamas, right? 1, 2, 3. And I stamped them irreconcilable. Right? Because now I can fully close the door and you're not going to see me trying to call them and give them the same old, hey, I'm a changed man. Been there, done that. When I come to your city and try to knock on your door and you say it's not good enough, it's almost like I want to give you a silent F you at that point because nothing will make you happy in life. No man who changes everything, nothing will. You're the reason you're unhappy and your bitterness will rot your bones. And that's not my fault. It's not my job to heal you. It's my job to bring the best version of me in your presence. Because we have a child together. So if I can bring that best version of me to you, that's my duty. My duty ain't to coddle you and heal you. You're in charge of your own healing. You're an independent woman, right? You buy your own clothes. You buy your own food. You're in charge of your own healing. Like, it's not my job, right? At this point. So, and that's what I brought to the table. And now I closed these folders. I stamped them irreconcilable because they're irreconcilable to me. I love my children. I hope for the best. And now my second motive is if I ever get rich, I'm going to come at it one more way, And that's going to be through law-abiding rules, and maybe a judge can hear our story and make decisions for us, kind of thing. That would be my secondary attempt after all this. And the reason why I'm making this video is because if I made a foundation, I want to help men, but I don't want to tell them to do anything I've never tried. So if I put you through a reconciliation road and pay for it, I want you to have to also get hit by these waves I got hit by. See what I'm saying? And it might be a different story, because women, if they knew you had an army behind you, they'd probably act a little different. They'd probably take but some of them don't. Some Jezebels will fight the whole world, and they'll go down out of that window and let dogs lick their bones and stuff. So that's just how they roll according to scripture. But I really hope you're inspired. If you got any questions on any missions you're getting ready to do, my email is going to be at the bottom link there, joshuaforjustice@yahoo.com. And don't be afraid to email me if you want to know more about this story. I did make it all the way back now. I'm back in the location, Pier 36, and I'm ready for my breakout session. I'm ready for whatever the world throws at me again. But now I can move on. Like, I do have kids. I love them. I wish I can be in their life, but I'm moving on. If there's another relationship for me, I'm going to build in that relationship like that's my one and only. And there comes a time where you have to close the doors in life, so you can move on, and I'm not saying this like I'm never going to see my kids again. I'm going to try to be like, hey, you want to fly out here? And like I said, I have to go to this secondary way because the other way isn't working. So reconciliation is tough. I didn't get what I wanted, obviously, but just because we don't get what we want, sometimes you still want to go forth with the mission, because if I didn't go on this mission, then my heart would have been revealed. Oh, you don't want it that bad. You just kind of want it. See, when you try to go fix things, it shows that you want it, right? You want it, and that's cool, That's a very cool thing to do. So I hope this video inspires you, and shoot me up with an email.